it's Sarah and
Lauren. Thing two.
Yeah, we changed our background this time. I guess we're going for a more like a literary approach. Dr. Seuss.
Oh yes, the greatest literary mastermind.
Quality literature.
Sorry, one of our teachers didn't like Dr. Seuss and wouldn't let us choose Dr. Seuss.
Yeah, that was something that we were both not very happy about. Anyway, our topic today is
It's about human nature.
yeah. Actually, literally right before this video, we didn't know what we were going to talk about, so Lauren just Googled deep topics of conversation or something. So we got one on human nature, and okay, so I guess the topic is, are humans better at creation or destruction? So Lauren, you go first, since you had some thoughts that you wanted to share. Okay,
Yeah,
so
I told her I didn't want to tell her my opinion until we actually talk about it. So this is technically live. You're getting a fresh approach, and this is bothering me because it keeps. Okay. All right. So, are humans more creative or destructive? Are they better at creation or destruction? Well, my first, diplomatic answer to the question is it depends on your worldview. Different people believe different things. I'm not ashamed to say that I'm a Christian, so obviously I am a creationist when it comes to how we came to exist. Which then naturally I have to believe, since God is the creator of everything, I believe that mankind was designed to, Genesis 1:26, we were made in the likeness of God, or God made us in, So naturally we are creative, but as far as being better at creation or destruction, I would unfortunately have to say that I think mankind's actually better at destruction because after Adam and Eve sinned in the garden, we have marred. It's not flawed or broken, but we have marred the image that God's image, because we were created in His image and then we sinned. So I would say that we're better at destruction because that is our sin nature. It naturally, we want to sin. We naturally do that which is wrong. You saw all the artists and the writers and, even architects, that's still a form of creation. Scientists who, they plant gardens and they find new ways to be eco-friendly and all this creative stuff. But on a day-to-day basis, we don't necessarily create, feelings to uplift someone. Instead, we destroy. We are very negative and destructive, and I think it's really unfortunate, honestly. So, that's my opinion. What about you?
Okay, well, I have similar thoughts, but I also have some different thoughts, I guess. I was actually thinking about this a while ago. I think it was since the first day of classes, one of my teachers said something, and it just got me thinking about this. God is the only person who has ever created anything. Since then, we just plagiarize everything we do. Literally, we don't create anything, because the definition of creation is to make something out of nothing. And obviously, we've existed when we have something. So I've never created anything in my life. And
that God hadn't already thought of.
Yeah. And so if you think of anyone who's ever created anything, they haven't really. So what is the definition of creation that we're talking about?
Ex nihilo, which is out of nothing. Well, since it says, I don't know. We can define that many different ways, because someone who does not agree with us, which that's okay, you're allowed to disagree with us. Someone who has a different viewpoint would say, oh, well, God didn't invent iPhones. So Steve Jobs and his crew, who made iPhones and stuff, they made that, whatever. They made that out of nothing because, they took all the electrical currents and blah, blah, blah. And it's yeah, who made the electrical currents? And who made their minds to then make the iPhone? God made their minds. So, yes, I agree with that. I forgot about that.
And even, you forgot about it.
I learned it a long time ago.
Oh, okay, so I'm behind.
No. It's more like a pastor mentioned it in a sermon, and I was like, oh, that's a profound thought. And then, I never really remembered it. So, shame on me, okay? Shame on me. Sarah gets the credit.
Thank you. Thank you. And it was something I was thinking about because, like, as writers, we're told you need to read more because the way that you become better at writing is by reading. Because what you're doing is you're essentially taking other people's plots and ideas and characters, and you're just kind of like mangling them all together and kind of like mixing them up in your head, and then out comes something that's technically creative, but it's just made of someone else's ideas to begin with.
Yeah.
Anyways, I would agree with Lauren. However, though, we are made in the image of God, so I think that has given us the desire to create, and so God has given us that. But I would say that naturally we are not better at creation. We are better at destruction. Because, like you said, with the sin nature. And even though, like, Lauren and I are both Christians, and so technically we've received, like, the new nature, we still have the old nature. And that's the thing that does drive you to tear things down and destruct. It's one of the consequences of sin. So I'd say we are better at destruction. Which is a really sad thought. And I think a lot of people don't like to think that way because it is very depressing. And so that's why like even there are so many like organizations in the world that are meant to like help people, and it makes you feel good when you help people. That's why I think that's one of the biggest reasons why we do it.
But I think it ultimately comes down, and again, this is my worldview kicking in, but I honestly feel like even if you didn't approach it this way, everyone would come to this conclusion. It honestly boils down to the day-to-day stuff. Like, okay, yes, you can become a member of an organization that, does charity work or sends money to Africa or China or something. But when it boils down to it, are you selfless on a day-to-day basis? We're at college right now, and it is really hard to, like, when you're walking down the sidewalk, not just look at your phone because you don't want to talk to someone, or, like,
That's me all the time.
yeah, or it's like, I have 10 minutes to get to class, or I have, 40 minutes before a class and I need to eat something. Get out of my way, or don't talk to me. I'm doing my thing. This is my major. I'm in college. It's all self-centered. So, like, even that's a form of destruction because you could be passing up an opportunity to help someone or to talk to them. I just had dinner tonight with a girl, and it was odd just because, we're not, like, best friends, but because of our unity in Christ, we had a really good conversation, and I honestly just think she needs someone to vent to and to share her struggles and, what she's been going through, and even though I don't know her that well, and it was kind of awkward, I was glad to at least just be a pair of ears that she could talk to. But going along with what we were just talking about, the human nature and all that, sorry, the questions we googled. The follow-up said, what do you think are the best and worst parts of human nature?
Oh, the best and worst parts. That's a very interesting question. I would say the best parts about human nature, that was that we are made in the image of God. So innately we do have characteristics that God gave us. Well,
Pet peeve, sorry.
Okay.
God does not have characteristics.
What does he have?
He doesn't have characteristics or personalities. God is. Okay? So every single time you look in the Bible and it says, God is love, God is hope, God is,
So
powerful.
He doesn't have love. He doesn't have power. That's what he is.
Yes,
So
exactly.
It's his being.
He's literally 100% of everything except evil. But literally
0% of people.
Literally, like, okay, like try to fathom it this way. What if the Bible had said God is loving? If it said God is loving, or God is God acts justly, that would put, well, first of all, that would put him at equality with mankind, that's kind of what the problem was with the whole Greek and Roman gods. They invented them after mankind, and obviously that's why they were so flawed and messed up and had so many immorality problems and bleh. But anyways, God, like, okay, if he's 100% love, it's not that he has the capability to be love, it's that he cannot help but love because he is love.
Yeah, I think that's one of the coolest things about God.
Like, it's noun versus verb, but if you are the noun, then you will verb.
I love how, oh, yes. Thank you, Lauren. Sorry, grammar.
Quote of the night, if you are noun, you will verb.
That's so true. I was just thinking about the other day, while we were doing the paper that was due on Thursday night, on the standards, one of the things I don't even remember what it was, but I was applying it to the fact that God is the only source of truth because God is truth. And because God is truth, the Bible says that God is a God who cannot lie. Like, there's no possible way because he is truth. I mean, if he had truth.
Yeah, and I don't remember exactly. Oh, I hate this about myself. I can remember concepts, but I can't remember, like a reference into the verse word for word.
Mhm.
But it was talking about, like, God's, how God is something. I don't remember what exactly the is was. But it was, I think it was Paul, either Paul or Peter, making an argument saying, God is this, and how can he change? Well, he can't. He says, can an Ethiopian change the color of his skin? Or can a blind man make himself see? And it's like, no, because that's who they are. That, like, he is blind. He can't just, oh, I see. Just no. And, like, oh, I don't want to be white anymore. I want to be Asian. I can't do that, okay? So it's just really cool how, if you think about it, I mean, that's a really poor example of thinking of ourselves, but that's a way to think about it. I am something, so then I default can't be something else. And I feel like that's one of the encouraging things about God, because he's better than us. I can be loving, and I can judge something justly, and
But you can't be loved, and you can't be
Right.
just.
Right, I'm very unkind a lot of the time.
Yes, she is.
To you?
You told me I sounded like a garbage disposal.
Okay, I'm sorry, but she's sick right now, and I'm surprised she hasn't coughed yet. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
She has all this gook in
Okay,
here.
let's not
Like,
get into that again.
Not Mucinex. I told her to take Mucinex.
She
for her
made me take
mucus.
it.
Mucus.
She found some for me and then made me take it. So, thank you, Lauren.
Well, because she would cough, and it would be like...
It did not sound like that.
Fine. It didn't sound like a garbage disposal. It sounded like when you stop the sink and fill all the water up, and then you, unplug it, and it goes like... And that's what it sounded like, in rapid succession.
Okay, you can't make me laugh because then I will start to cough.
Ooh, let's make her laugh.
Let's not. Also, I might choke.
Yeah, don't do that. Because I'm technically CPR certified.
No, you don't do
But-
CPR when someone chokes.
I know! I'm just saying! I am first aid and CPR certified.
Okay.
But I've yet to actually have to put it in practice, thankfully. But I don't know if I would remember how to do it correctly.
Okay.
And stuff. So.
You will not be performing CPR on me anytime soon. I can reassure you of that.
I rest my case. Drink.
Okay, well.
Who was the...
That just sounded not very nice.
So, that is our conversation and our, I guess, concluding thoughts on human nature.
We never did actually get to finish that second question, though.
Oh, that's right! Okay.
Anyway,
Never mind.
like-
Pause. Just so it's easier for me to
Wait.
cut.
let me cough. Okay.
So, Sarah thinks that the best part of humanity is...
Just the fact that we were made in God's image. I would say, that's the best part. The worst part is obviously sin nature. And that came into the world after, obviously, God made us.
I'm going to expound on that because, I mean, obviously I agree. But I'm going to expound on that more so in the sense of, I feel like, okay, because we are created in God's image, I feel like our best qualities are when we actually emulate God. So,
Yes.
the actual act of when we are loving, when we are kind, when we approach a situation and can come to a rational conclusion, appropriately. When we actually do those things, and I'm not just limiting this to Christians, guys. Even when, if any of you out there are watching and you haven't accepted Christ as your Savior, even when y'all do something like that, sorry, please don't. Seriously though, even when y'all do something like that, you're still giving glory to God, and I feel like that's one of the most beautiful things about mankind. Just the fact that He still loves us, and we didn't actually break that image; we just kind of destroyed it a little bit. it's marred or it's tainted. What's the other word?
I think one is the best.
Yeah, marred.
But I think it's, I mean, even look at that. We were the ones who destroyed it.
There wasn't God.
Yeah.
I mean,
again, we're better at destruction
Yeah.
than at creation.
But the worst part to going along with that with sin nature, I would have to say that within sin nature, I would have to say that the worst part of humanity is purposely denying God and His existence. Well, because that is part of our sin nature, the fact that we become our idol rather than God. Not to say that God's an idol, but like we put ourselves above God, and so we don't want to answer to Him because He made the rules of the universe, and since we're a part of the universe and He made us, we have to obey those rules. And so when we say that there is no God, like if you say that there is no God, or if I were, Sarah were, as soon as you like say that and you start trying to believe that, you know you're wrong. You just have to, because the Bible says that it's etched on our hearts. Like
The
God,
thing is, too, though, sorry,
no, you're fine.
Satan blinds the minds of those who do not believe.
But they still
So,
have a sense
I think-
about it.
I think so, but I think a lot of people can cover it up.
Yeah.
Or they don't recognize what exactly it is.
Or it's
And-
like they know something's out there, but they don't know what, so then they just believe in what they can comprehend.
We're doing this fascinating thing in my adolescent, teaching adolescent lit class. We're comparing the lives of C.S. Lewis with the life of Freud. And it's so interesting how they're so different. Lewis made the choice of, he was confronted with the fact that there either is a God or there isn't a God. So he chose, okay, there might be a God, and then he went after that. And not only did he find God, then he got saved, and he became one of the greatest,
Christian author.
Christian authors in the last century. Freud was confronted with the fact that there either is a God or there isn't a God, and he said, I don't want there to be a God. And so he would never even like accept that as a possibility. He even went back and he considered himself Moses. He said that he was the dreamer. He considered himself to be a Moses figure. So he went back in the Bible. He took the story of Moses and he read what he wanted to out of it. And then after that, he rewrote it. And he said, this is what actually happened. The real account was, the written account was wrong. And he just kind of destroyed that. He never considered that there could be a God. And he said that people who believe in God, it's just like a crutch. But
Because of our sin, we want to see what we want to see. We want to do what we want to do. We want to believe what we want to believe. We, I. And that's ultimate. Like, that to me is the saddest thing about humanity. Because, I mean, I had an opportunity to talk to a kid this summer at a day camp. And I don't know if someone said it to him wrong or what, but he honestly believed that God, not that God had providence over what happens, like he allows it for something else good to later happen, because, everything that God does, he works together for good. But he believed that God controlled our actions, like a puppet, like God was holding the strings and making us do stuff. And I tried so hard, like I stood up in front of him and kicked a ball, and then I sat down, and I was like, God didn't make me just, get up and kick the ball. And he was like, yeah, he did, because he wants you to try to convince me, but he doesn't want me to be convinced. And it was so circular reasoning, and I've never been so burdened before in that moment, because it was so wrong, and it hurt. Just like the things that he was saying, and the fact that someone had said that to him, and so now it's shaping his entire worldview. He's one of the worst behaved kids in that entire day camp, at the school that I graduated from, and it was just really, really sad. So, sorry, this is a little more depressing.
really depressing.
Yeah, but I think it's sobering.
The most sobering reality in the world today is that people are dying and going to hell.
And I don't say that I know we kind of said it in the middle of that, but it's just because the old president of Bob Jones University, He would say that all the time in chapel, and whenever he gets to guest speak, a lot of times he'll still say it. And it's true. It really is a sobering thought. It's just like, what are you living your life for? Who are you living for? Do you care about the other people in this world? I mean,
well, one of the things though, God is a caring God, and we can emulate that even if we're not saved.
Yeah.
So, yeah, sometimes, people who aren't saved, they do care about people in the world, but ultimately they aren't living for anything other than themselves, and even then they're not even sure, like, what life really is. Like, going back to what I was saying before about Freud, the last few years of his life, he was paranoid about dying because
he knew he had a soul. You can't get away from it. It's written on your heart.
I think he didn't know what would happen because he honestly, like, would not let himself believe in a God. So, and he even, like, when he got to the end of his life, he said that the worst thing was, like, a life without, like, when he was living and he couldn't do any more work, he couldn't write anymore, he said that there was no purpose for life. And so ultimately he committed suicide by taking too much morphine on purpose. And that was the end of his life.
And that's kind of been our chapel theme right now, how Christ is all. Like Christ is sufficient. Colossians 3. Since you said that, it's so eye-opening. Like, Christ literally is all. If you aren't, I would like to challenge anyone who's listening, if you don't believe in Christ, or if you're, like, contemplating it or something, like, think about your life, like, what will happen when you die? Where will you go? Is there an afterlife? You just ask yourself those questions and think about it, and think about people that you've talked to and what they believe in, and it's okay to explore. But obviously, since we are Christians, I do believe in an afterlife. And when you hear stories like that about, Freud, he's a great,
everyone knows his name.
Yeah, all of these great people in history, like the Stoics, a lot of the ancient philosophers, they would get so close. And then,
so close, but so far.
Yes, because if you're not there, then you're gone. So, if you tell yourself that there is no afterlife, you will reach a point in your life where you don't know what to do next. You can explore every possible thing. You can be the best person in the world, the worst person in the world. You can do everything far in and in between. And if you're still alive by the end of that, you literally will have no idea what to do because there is nothing to do. Isaiah, I think it's Isaiah, says that we were created to glorify God. End. Period. Stop. However you want to say it. We were created to glorify God. Now, that's emulated through different means.
You know why that is? God is a relational being. He made us to be relational beings too. And he wants a relationship with us. We have like this, we always like say like a hole in your heart that only God can fill.
It's actually a really good illustration because
it just sounds very cliche.
It does.
But
it does.
It is.
But think about it. Like, if you remember back when you were unsaved, or if you're listening right now and you're unsaved, you have a longing for something, and nothing can fill it. And the whole point is that hole in your heart it goes on for eternity, and God is the only thing that is eternal. So He's the only one that can fill that for eternity.
Again, going back to Freud, he even said that everyone has a longing for an eternal Father. And he said Christianity was invented because we're just trying to fill that.
That's so true.
But see, again, like being so close and so far, he recognizes that everyone has like this longing, but he wouldn't go any further than that.
So if you are listening and you want to talk more about this, I don't really know if we can say anything more about it without going in circles. But if you're listening and you have some questions, or you disagree with us, or you're unsure about things, or you're searching, you're longing, and you want to know more, by all means, please message us, comment, private, whatever. We'll be happy to talk to you. If you have specific questions, we could totally do another video based on those specific questions. We don't have to say your name, just whatever. And we'll be praying for you guys, especially if you do comment or contact us.
But if you comment, we may not be able to read it.
Oh, no, that was just Harry's problem.
Okay.
Because it's Harry. Sorry, gotta lighten the mood somehow. yeah, our friend tried to comment and be like, haha, I'm the first to comment and blah, blah, blah. But I think I hadn't changed the settings yet, so we couldn't see it.
So I think you posted it like 3 times before we finally could see it.
So,
Anyway.
I hope you guys are doing well, and I hope this conversation was interesting, or like that you learned something, or you were encouraged, or challenged, or maybe now you're contemplating things. I mean, we call this vlog Life Talks for a reason. We care about life and people that are in it, and human nature. Christ is our all, okay? So if you don't know where to start, here's where to start. Colossians 3, or just all of Colossians, but Colossians 3. You could also go to James. James is a good one. So that is my challenge to you.
Homework. You're like a teacher, you're giving homework already.
No, it's a challenge. It's not homework. It's a challenge. Guys, don't view this as homework. Seriously, your spiritual life is far more important.
That's true.
Than anything.
I'm sorry.
Seriously.
Anyway, thanks for joining us, guys. It's been fun. And I hope you learned a lot.